Welcome to the Daniela Baumann Show. I'm so excited to have Rola Diab with us today. You might remember her from her incredible speech at one of our Women Leaders events, but today we'll dive deeper into Rola's personal and professional journey. From her bold move from Los Angeles to Dubai to her powerful experience with Mindvalley, Rola has been a true inspiration to many. Get ready for a heartfelt conversation about resilience, leadership, and the power of continuous growth. And don't forget to follow us on our YouTube channel for more insights episodes. Hello, my dear Rola. I'm so excited.
Likewise, I always love being in your energy.
Yes, and I love you from the beginning. I remember when we see each other at the Gladiator Summit, and I was thinking, wow, look at this beautiful woman. And then you was laughing, and your eyes were so beautiful.
You're so sweet. Well, God, your energy is always like this, literally every time. I couldn't get enough. The second we met, it was like fireworks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? What is so beautiful? When I see a beautiful woman, I didn't look only from outside. You are looks beautiful from outside, but I was seeing your soul inside, and this really touched me. No. And I think this is a soul connection.
I think
it's called soul connection.
I think so.
And now I'm so happy to see you here on our podcast, and also thank you so much that you speak on our Women Leaders event. Wow. There was so many things going on here in Dubai, and you moved from Los Angeles to Dubai. What was your experience?
I just want to clarify. I moved from LA to New York to Miami, Miami to Dubai.
Wow.
There were a few steps in between.
Did you wasn't sure what is the right place, or why you tried out?
So many cities. Well, after college, I moved straight to Chicago, and I love Chicago. It's such a great city, especially in the summertime, not so much in the winter. But, you know, in such strong, harsh circumstances weather-wise, I couldn't do it after 8 years. So I thought, okay, let's move to LA because it's a big city and the weather's always nice. So I was in. But LA wasn't quite for me. It wasn't quite the energy for me.
Why? What was the problem? The people, the energy?
You know, it's kind of challenging to say because I know great people in LA, so I can't say it's all the people. I just didn't feel like energetically it brought out the best version of me, where I was on top of my progress, the way that I show up in the world. It really didn't. I'm a big believer in everything has a consciousness, and for me, LA consciousness wasn't serving my greatest good. It was something that for me felt a little low frequency. Now, this is not the case for everybody, but for me, that's what it was. And so I needed to remove myself.
This is so, wow, incredible. This is so incredible, but I have the same experience. I had the same experience, yes. When I was living in Germany, I feel like I'm out of place. I don't fit in.
Yeah.
And the same in Switzerland. I was feeling, oh my God, I'm totally different,
Yeah.
what I'm doing here. And in the beginning, I was thinking, it's me. I was thinking, I'm the problem.
Yeah.
But I wasn't not, this was so interesting what you shared before, I wasn't not the best version of myself.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I came to Dubai, and today I feel like I'm the best version of myself.
Completely, yeah. I get that. So I left and moved to New York, and then I felt a shift right away. New York's obviously a very tough city, so you have to step up and, you know, show up in a way that's going to, it's either you're going to grow or it's going to spit you out. So you've got to really work on, you know, making sure that you're moving forward, growing. And so I did that for a while until COVID hit, and I couldn't live in New York after COVID because the sparkle of the city disappeared when everything shut down. Everything shut down, and we were basically in prison cells in our homes in a city of concrete. So the fast-moving energy that we all love about New York, gone for a while. And so I left, and I ended up moving to Miami, and Miami was great.
I hear there's a lot of people from New York are moving after the pandemic to
Yeah,
Miami.
a lot,
They
yeah.
miss a lot. Huh? I think they miss the weather, they miss the beach, they miss the energy.
You know, I mean, Miami's got, especially now since post-COVID, people from all over the U.S. started moving to Miami. In fact, all over the world. And so it became a hub. And so you started the diversity, because Miami's very Latin-based, but now that's more diverse with different types of people. And, you know, businesses all started moving there, financial firms from New York, everybody started moving in. And you get the weather and you get great people and city. Yeah. Right.
But the only thing is Miami, we was living there part-time since the last 15 years. I remember we bought an apartment in Miami, and this was so interesting. You also used to it to manifestation.
Very much,
and I manifest the apartment in Miami. But I don't have any idea how manifesting works.
Yeah.
It was like this. My biggest dream was to live on a beach. And I don't know why, about maybe the cool music videos, R&B music videos at this time. I was thinking, wow, Miami, this is the place.
Yeah.
And I met someone from Miami, and he invited me it was only 3 days. And you can't believe I came to Miami and I fall in love. I don't know why. I was thinking for the first time, I feel home. Did you remember a place you came there for the first time and you feel like, oh my God, this is my home place? And this really was Miami for me. And my biggest dream was to buy an apartment in Miami, but at this time I was single mother, I was broke, I don't had any possibility to make money, and it was very hard with 2 children. But every night when I go to sleep, I think for myself how this apartment looks like, where I love to live in Miami. And I saw the picture in front of me when I walked through the apartment, and I have an amazing view when I look outside, and you can't believe 5 years later, I opened the door of my first apartment in Miami South Beach, and I look direct on Star Island.
I love it.
And this was today, of course, everyone speak about manifestation, but at this time, I don't know what is manifestation exactly, but this shows me it's happened. You can do it. You have to see it. You have to visualize it.
And you, unknowingly, were programming your subconscious mind at the alpha state, which is the programmable state. You were falling asleep. And as you're thinking about something, as you're falling asleep, that's when you're dropping into alpha. That's when you're programming your subconscious mind. You were doing it unconsciously.
Yes.
And that's why, not why, but like, it helps manifest when you're programming your subconscious. So
yeah,
it's really
but it's also not easy, you know? When you are in a situation where you're struggling in life, and think about, I will have an own apartment in Miami, can be so far away, but you are true. When you do it before you go to sleep, it's a little bit easier, you know, you don't think too much. You see only, oh, this beautiful apartment, but this works. And today, of course, I still do manifestation. I love it. What about you?
Oh my God, of course. I journal every morning. I focus on the things that I want. I do a meditation that involves a focused intention. I do all of it. I program throughout the day. You know, it's something really important that I talk about recently is identifying over importance. It's one of the tricks to manifesting I think most people miss, because they're like, this is what I want. And what I want is so big and so massive and so important that we give it so much heightened energy, But what's happening is we're creating this energy that's above us, right? It's no longer in our field of having, because time doesn't exist, right? Everything's happening on top of each other, and we're using time to measure change. So if time doesn't exist, I need to make everything right now. And if it's right now, and I've made over importance, I'm putting an energy outside of my field because it's not connected to me. So I have to neutralize that and bring it into my present moment, not give it so much importance, but something more that I have love and gratitude for. And I always say the formula for abundance is love plus gratitude. Love draws it in, gratitude acknowledges having it, right? You're not needing anything. You're feeling grateful for it, right? It's not outside of you, it's present. So if you combine that, then you can manifest faster because you haven't pushed that energy so big that it's outside of you.
Yeah, you are so right. And I think also what is very important, we have so many goals, and what you say, the goals are so far away, but we lose to enjoy the moment. And I learn every moment when I sit with you right now, I think for myself, I love to enjoy this moment. And this I practice every day. Or when I sit down and I eat a delicious food and I think for myself, wow, I enjoy this moment right now, but I didn't have it in the past.
Yeah,
oh
I
my
get
God,
that.
in the past I had so many thoughts about other people, about how people react to me, and I waste of time.
Yeah, yeah. You know, if you think about it from life force, I love talking about life force because we're generators of energy. Yeah, we have electricity that actually runs through our bodies.
Yeah.
That's insane when you think about electricity runs the entire world, right? If electricity went away today, we wouldn't have much to work with, right?
Yes.
And that's running through our bodies, and so we're these generators of energy. And so if we're working on a goal, and if we have too many, then all the energy is dispersed, right? So because there's only so many outlets that if you look at a socket in the wall, how many things can you plug into connection in that wall before all these weaken, right? Your lamp's gonna, go in and out maybe. Like if you put too much, this socket's gonna burn out, right?
Yeah.
So we have to pull in all our energy from all the things we're sending it, and that includes things like throughout the day, you got mad at that person's holding on to your energy, you're overthinking something over here, whatever it is that's not necessarily in alignment of the driver of what you really want to accomplish. It's like pull all that energy in and pick a few things that you're sending your energy to. I always check in, where's my life force going today? If it's going to things that might not serve me, and I do it in the moment that it's happening because I've practiced this so much now, that I'm like, oh, nope, that's not going to get. And sometimes I have to talk myself through something because something happens that drives the emotion. And it's like, I might have been upset or whatever the case may be. It's like, okay, I have to walk myself through this to pull the energy back and redirect it to what's important, which is what I'm working on over here.
But then you have to try to stay in the moment. You be awakening about the moment. And sometimes what you say before, it's not so easy. But the more you practice, the more it works.
Absolutely.
And then you can really enjoy the moment. I remember when I built up my business and I went to holidays with my kids, I always, my thoughts was always in the business and also always on the iPhone. I forget in this moment to be really in the moment. And today when I look back, I think, why I don't practice it in this time, but it was another time,
Yeah.
It's a learning process. Today I can say to our audience, try really to be in the moment. And when situations are coming in your life, think about, can I have the possibility now to change it? And when you don't have the possibility, let it go. People speak so much about the world, about the government, about restriction. They complain the whole day, but they can change anything. Why you waste your time?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't do that.
Yeah. No, this is what I learned, but I learn it with the age,
Yeah.
You get, you're a little bit younger than me, but you have so much knowledge, and this is so beautiful, when you are starting in a young age, and also I see so many young people in the age of 20, 25 or 30, and I think, oh my God, they are so wise.
Yeah.
They have so many knowledge. Oh my God, when I was younger, at the age of 20, I was thinking always, boys, men. I was concentrating always outside of me. But today, it's so important for me to look inside. And this is so important in the today's world, I think a lot of people, they get burned out.
Yeah. I had I have a client I was speaking to yesterday. And she's so smart, so driven, such an easy person to work with. She's incredible, actually. And we were talking about, she was bothered by someone, a man that wasn't showing up in the way that she wanted him to show up. And we talked about, again, life force and how when two people are interested in each other, they're sending each other life force, right? Like, I'm sending you energy, you're sending me energy right now. And as we're sending each other energy, it feels nice, right? When it's positive energy, right? It feels nice. But if someone's energy turns away and you're still sending them all the energy and you're not getting anything back, you start to feel depleted, right? So you have to stop sending that energy out and turn it onto yourself and start sending yourself energy to fill up. And so I have a really great healer teacher that I've worked with for many years. She's incredible. And she introduced me to a concept many years ago, about 10 years ago, 9 years ago, that never occurred to me. With all the self-development work I had done at the time, it never occurred to me that with relationships, if you need to be so filled with your own self-love that if that relationship went away tomorrow, you'd be okay.
Yes. I believe in this.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And because I started believing that way prior to a breakup that she was kind of warning me about without telling me, I saved myself a lot of heartache. It took me no time to get over this person. I was super upset initially for about a month or so, but this is a 2-year relationship. It should have taken me a while to get over this, right? I thought I was going to marry this man, but I was fine. And even through the tears, I knew I was fine. And it's because I recognized, let me fill myself up with love.
Yeah.
In fact, I attracted him because I had filled myself up with so much love. I was vibrating at the frequency of love that people felt it around me, and you become more attractive because they feel this energy that feels good, and people become more attracted to you. So you can purposely send yourself energy like that on the daily. I literally do this throughout the day. I'm like, oh, I could use some love today. So I just started sending myself some love. And it works. I call in energy for whatever it is I want. Do I want more confidence today? Call in my power. I could use a little more power right now. I do that.
Amazing.
And by calling it with intention, you actually feel it in the moment. It's amazing. And it can be that simple.
And it's helpful.
It's God.
So helpful.
It's game changer. Especially when you're feeling an energy you don't want to feel.
Yeah.
I can walk somebody through a few minutes of removing energy that they think is theirs. And 1 minute they feel so heavy about it. And then 2, 3, 4 minutes later, they feel completely different. It's like, how are our feelings that fleeting?
Yes.
And we give so much credit to our feelings, like it's the end all, I feel this way. All these people that get triggered and upset about things. It's like, if you really knew that your feelings could shift that easily, you would understand that you have so much more power than you're actually giving yourself, because you can shift it like that.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Self-love is so important. The moment I start to love myself, I don't need to attract from outside. I think when you don't love yourself, you're always waiting that someone is coming, that the right partner is coming. Come on, you can do it by yourself. You don't need anyone else in your life. It's beautiful to have a nice relationship. But I was also on this level one day that I say to myself, I want to meet really the perfect man for myself. Otherwise, I stay happy single. Of course, I came out of toxic relationships, and they take all my energy. And the problem was, in this relationship, I can grow. There was no possibility to grow.
Yeah.
When someone take your energy right away, then you don't have energy enough to concentrate in yourself. And what you say, it's so important. Love yourself. Think also you can make it by yourself, alone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not even a focus of being alone as much as it is just being great in the moment. Like, what I have in the moment, if I'm in a relationship or not, I feel great about myself. And when you can be that way, 1, you're more attractive to your partner, and 2, you're happier.
Yes.
And you can purposely decide to be that way by choice. And sometimes for those who have practiced the opposite for a while, it's going to take them more time to get there. But it's worth every moment to practice it and reprogram those neural pathways so that you have a better life.
So
Otherwise,
beautiful.
you're going to be miserable for a long time.
Yeah, so beautiful. When I look back, sometimes I need so long time to come out of these relationships, you know.
Yeah.
Then I look back and I think, why I stay so long? Why
Yeah.
I don't go earlier? Of course, it was about the kids and everything.
Sure.
But today, I can tell you, when you are not happy in a relationship, don't waste your time. You know,
Yeah.
we all get older, and when you stay too long, you really waste the beautiful things in your life. But let's talk about Mindvalley. Yeah, Mindvalley is such a powerful platform for growth and transformation. Standing on their stage and hearing Vishen Lakiani speak so highly of you must have been incredible. Can you tell us more about your connection with Mindvalley and how it began?
So I've known Vishen for about 14 years. I met him in LA. We became friends. It was before Mindvalley was as big as what it is today. He actually at the time stayed at my place for a night when he was in town, or 2 nights, whatever it was. But yeah, we became very close, and over the years we weren't as close because we're in different countries, whatever. And I'll tell you this, Vishen is such a great human being that sometimes I think people don't understand him when they meet him. He has such a big heart, and what's so beautiful about Vishen is that he is the same person that I knew 14 years ago.
Wow.
He's the only change is the growth, but who he is as a person, his humble nature, his kindness, it's all the same. And I think sometimes when people meet him, because he's I don't know, I forget what it was that he has, but like in his social environments, when it's new people, he's not always super comfortable, and so people read that wrong sometimes and may sometimes make judgments, but he is the purest of hearts and like one of the kindest people ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I see this also. He push also the people, his family, the speakers. I think he do a lot of things for them also. You know,
He loves people,
want
yeah.
that. Of course, Mindvalley and all the programs are growing, and I think it's an amazing platform to really help people to go forward, also spiritual, you know.
Yes.
And I think it's very important to have this kind of platform today for the people. And you see this, you know, all the amazing speakers or also who are fits in the program, they grow. He pushed them, and this is what I like. What you say before, yeah, it's of course, sometimes when you met someone very new, you know, of course, for some people they are maybe a little bit shy, or maybe they like to know you better, and then they're open. I think this is normal.
Yeah, and Vishen's an introvert. He's not an extrovert. So people think that he's going to be, you know, he's introverted, so he doesn't always feel comfortable around new people, but he's such a beautiful human being, and I was honored to speak at their event.
Wow, and they have a big event in January.
Big one.
Wow.
Future Humans coming.
Amazing. Everything is coming to Dubai, and this is what I love. There's so many events. You have so many possibilities to grow.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get invitation for 2 or 3 events in one day.
You can't keep up.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been going nonstop. That's why I'm like worn down a little bit right now. But
you have to choose, yeah.
You have to slow it down a little bit. Otherwise, it's like literally every day there's so much going on.
But this is what I love. And tonight we are invited for the Dubai Opera. Oh my God, I love it. This is so. I never felt boring, and I felt many times in Switzerland boring. But I feel like after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, nobody's on the street anymore. There's nothing going on. And I feel for myself, I came in the working modus. You know, when you don't have a lot of possibilities in your private life, you concentrate on working.
Sure.
And I think the balance between working and personal life is so important.
Yeah, man. You've got to recharge. It's back to that outlet, right? You've got to charge up.
Yes.
So important. That's why I meditate every day, because that makes a huge difference. Huge.
Me also, I start to meditate, I think, like 3 years ago. Before I was saying, oh, what's that? You know, I don't need this, you know. I think a lot of people in the beginning, before they meditate or start to meditate, they judge. But then Of course, it's not easy in the beginning. And a lot of
Yeah.
people, when I recommend them, start to meditate. They say, oh, it's not possible for me to sit 1 minute. But it's like the same with dancing. When you start a new sport, you have to train it. The same as with meditation. You
Yeah.
have to train yourself that you sit down for 1 minute. Start with 1 minute. You don't have to start with 10 minutes. Today, I meditate around 20 minutes. I start with breath work to come down. Then I meditate like 10 to 20 minutes. And then I do my affirmations. But I think it's important that you start and that you don't push yourself that I have to sit down now 5 minutes. Start with 1 minute.
Yeah.
And this is so beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. I've many times told people, if you understood how beneficial it was for you, you would never want to skip. And I think the word meditation kind of scares people. It's like, oh, I have to do it this way and this is the process. No, literally just close your eyes and relax. That's where, can you want to relax for 5 minutes? That's what we're asking you to do, relax. It means when you're overthinking, we want you to relax. Can you do that? I think if we just substituted the word relax for meditation, people would do it and be like, I'm in. You know what I mean?
We can do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right now. Okay. Everyone at home,
Relax.
Relax, sit in a position you feel good, and then close your eyes. And now I think you have a lot of things going on in your mind, a lot of thoughts. Concentrate in your breath, breathe in and breathe out, and nothing else.
Feels good, doesn't it?
So beautiful.
Yeah, I love it.
And you can do it every time, everywhere. Of course, you can do it also with music or without music, but it's only time for yourself. You take so many times for other things, people for Netflix, but this is only the time for yourself.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
It is.
Wow. Every successful journey has defining moments that leave a lasting impact. When you think about your career, is there a moment that stands out as truly transformate you or transformation for you?
Many, actually. I have to credit the beginning of my career because it was so important, and the person who impacted me has no idea. I was working for a company, and it was like my first big job out of college. And I had to build a territory from zero. And for the first, give or take, about 6 months, I wasn't doing so well, and I was trying really hard. And I was waking up early and doing everything I could do to get out and make it happen. And I was so it was in the lending industry at the time. So mortgage broker offices were my target. I needed them to give me loans, to trust me enough that I could take their loan and get it closed, because that was the hardest thing to do in the industry, is get a loan from submission to closing, because many things can show up that make it fail, right, in underwriting. So they need to trust that I'm pre-qualifying it, structuring it, and delivering it to underwriting in a way that's packaged correctly. So you have to really go through these files to make sure that that's done right. So building trust in those brokers when I was a 23-year-old wasn't as easy as I would have thought, right? I'm like, oh, you like me, but you're going to send me business, right? I needed more. Like that competence versus likability factor.
Yeah.
So I was in an office one day, and it was the nicest office. It was in Chicago at the time. I was in this office, and this is like the most successful office in the entire city. I mean, everybody in there was like in Armani suits, like dressed to the nines, beautiful office. And it was intimidating. So I really wanted to win their business. I had convinced one of the brokers, let me fax this package over to get an approval, a pre-approval, because it was a little more complicated. And I went into the side office, and when I peeked my head in, one of the founders plus their senior leaders were sitting there having a meeting, and I had to walk through there to go to get the fax, or send the fax. And I peek my head in, and with the softest, most feminine, sweet voice ever, I'm like, excuse me, can I use your fax machine? Right? And the founder looks at me, and he took a moment, and he's like, girl, if you want something, come in here, speak up, and assert yourself. And he said it with so much force that I was like, oh, wow. And in that moment, I was like, oh, my God. The way that I'm speaking has me being perceived as weak or not as confident, whatever the case may be. I'm not portraying myself in a way that makes these people try. It was such a light bulb moment for me. I'm like, it's not what you said, it's how you said it. The way that I'm speaking was hurting me.
Wow.
In that moment, I was like, oh my God, thank you. Also, at that time, I started going through a heavy self-development course that was, working on the inner work, heavy work. So coupled with that, and the fact that I started speaking differently, I went from, I found out later, almost being fired within that time because I wasn't doing well, I wasn't producing. And then I went on to be one of the top reps in that entire company across the country, where I was called in to help train other reps across the country. I went to almost $10 million a month. Not a year, but a month, or 10 million, not 10,000. 10 million a month, almost. And so I was doing incredibly well, making great money. And if it wasn't for that one moment that had me realize how I was projecting and communicating was having these people not trust me. I wasn't building any type of authority that made them feel like you've got this file. We believe in you. It made them think like, girl, you still need to prove yourself. So, and it happened very fast after that. I would say the acceleration was pretty fast.
Yeah, it was a short moment, but it changed.
Yeah, I was like, where was this sooner? But and then, but that changed my entire career because it literally changed the way that I delivered from that point forward.
Amazing.
Yeah, the way you communicate. 85% of your success is based on the way you communicate.
But I think this is also a women problem.
Yes.
Men, they come in the room, they don't have maybe the same education like you have or another women have, but they believe in themselves, But a women, you come in the room, there was a meeting, all these men, everyone was, like this, and you put yourself automatically in another position. Yeah,
for sure. And it's something that you see a lot everywhere, but now being here in Dubai, I see it a lot with women, little things like the way they shake their hands. There's a way to shake hands as a professional. And I see often with women, if your thumb is down, it's more submission. And so they're shaking in a way that's weak. And that's your first connection with someone. You're giving me this weak, submissive handshake. I've already put you in a certain category based on your handshake. You're not a strong person.
You are so right.
So that alone, right? Women often uptick the way that they talk. They'll say something with, like they're questioning what they're saying, with a upward tone. That's a big mistake because it shows insecurity. So women often do a lot of these more often than men do.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think communication is so important. I think the first moment is so important. When you meet someone, look in the eyes, don't look around or on the floor. You're on the same position.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, as a kid, many times you don't learn all these things. You learn it later with your journey or I learned a lot of things when I was struggling in my life. This was like also awakening. Always when I was really struggling in my life, it was a big awakening and a big growth.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of moments are so important that you realize it. Some people don't realize it. They make the mistakes over and over. They don't realize, but you realize in a moment.
It was very obvious. He called me out right away.
Yeah. Wow.
So I couldn't miss it.
The next question, what I have personally, mentors and role models play such a vital role in shaping who we are. Who was being a significant influence in your life, and how have they impacted your journey?
So I always tell people that I have three major teachers that were the ones I've always followed. I'm certified through one of Tony Robbins' coaching companies, so I'm a big Tony fan. I mean, his work is amazing. I went through
Oh my
Business
God.
Mastery.
He changed
I
so
did
many lives.
amazing.
Crazy.
So his frameworks I use a lot. The world of psychology uses his work. So he's significant and one of my top teachers. Then taking it more into the spiritual, Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza. He is phenomenal because I've literally healed my body through the work with Joe. So that was significant.
What you have done to heal your body?
So are you familiar with Joe or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are on the same
yeah.
energy.
Just in case other people aren't,
Yeah.
he talks about the science of, he goes deep into the science of meditation. Some people say it's pseudoscience, but I think we're very close to showing evidence to those people that it's actually not. I mean, the results speak for themselves, and I can look at other people gaining their eyesight back, stepping out of wheelchairs, all that, great. But I've had now my own experience.
Okay.
I was snowboarding, and I fell enough times on my tailbone that I left with a pinched nerve and super stiff, and what turned out to be 6 months of physical therapy that was not helping. I literally was going to physical therapy 2 to 3 times a week.
Oh.
In so much pain, so much inflammation down my legs, and my lower back hurting so bad, was not helping. I go and I do a 7-day meditation retreat at Joe's. And I initially was like, uh-oh, day one, I'm in trouble. I'm already starting to be in pain. How am I going to get through this week when I typically go 2 to 3 times a week? And I was like, wait a minute. I can heal my body. I'm going to do that. So I set an intention that I was going to heal my body. I've never been back to a physical therapist since doing that week long.
Wow. It means like the first day you set this intention, and then you do the work what he shows.
Yeah.
I
So
think how many
you
hours
end up
they
doing
meditate?
a total of about 35 hours of meditation. Not
Wow.
through, that's going to scare people. But it's like, there's a lot of breaks, a lot of time, it's over a week. So it was life-changing. I left there feeling like an elevated version of myself. And I did his, the progressive prior to going, and I did that online right before COVID started. And that's when I started doing Joe's program after reading his books.
Wow.
Thank God I did that before COVID, because that really helped me. I remember telling someone at Christmas, I never say this, by the way, I feel like I figured out life. Never
This
say
is
that, because then
amazing.
COVID hits. You're like, maybe I
Wow.
didn't figure out life.
This is amazing.
And I also said, I remember saying clearly, I feel like I'm floating into rooms. Like the version of me that's coming into a space feels so elevated and lighter and just floating into rooms. Completely different experience. So anyway, needless to say, Joe is one of my top teachers because that work is transformative. And what you can do in the 5D versus the 3D is pretty significant because we plant and create, and we can go down a deep rabbit hole and all that. But he's number 2. Number 3 is someone that most people haven't necessarily heard of, is Dr. DeMartini. Dr.
I never hear about it.
Yeah, a lot of people haven't.
Yes.
So he was actually in The Secret for like 2 seconds.
Okay.
And he is someone that I did his course many years ago. In my 20s, actually. When I was 27, I did his 4-day, whatever it was.
I love in this age that I have all this experience. That's amazing.
Yeah, I was lucky.
And then you do the course with him?
I did the full live event with him. And his work is based on the belief that everything in the world is balanced.
Yeah.
What is not balanced is our perspective.
Okay.
And so if we are feeling that something's too great or too terrible, it means our perspective is imbalanced. Now, you could say, well, somebody died or someone was raped or whatever it is, like really horrible things. And we can't say, no, those are not horrible things, but there's a way to neutralize those experiences so you're not imbalanced, because the world is balanced. So if you want to feel good again, which is the energy of love and gratitude, the balance of love and gratitude, not over here, I'm not over there, I'm in complete love and gratitude. And you can do that by going through this process of, I call it a neutralization process. His version is what he calls the collapse, which is amazing. And so you can collapse experiences with people from childhood. You can collapse money. You can do it with literally anything. And if somebody's got a negative effect still that's sitting with them from a divorce or whatever, had happened to them in the past, they can neutralize it so they can come to a space of love and gratitude about it, no matter what it is.
I think so many people out there need this, I remember it was so hard when my mother was dying. It was so hard. I was sitting down, I remember like 2-3 weeks, and I was always looking on YouTube videos when they speak about that experience and they come back, and I want to know everything, but it was really hard to get out of this. I think you have to be ready for this. Sometimes you need, of course, the time to come over it.
Sure, yeah.
But for some people, it's really hard. Also, when they're maybe have a child or there is some accidents, this is so hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, you can have everything in your hand. You can try, but you have to be ready to come out of this.
Sometimes you have to force yourself to be ready.
Of course.
Unless you want to hit rock bottom, that's always an option, right?
Yes.
Hit rock bottom before you're ready, but ideally you're not doing that. You're not waiting that long.
Of course.
Right? And sometimes we have to remember that the universe whispers before it screams.
This is very interesting why you talk about universe. Yesterday, I saw the numbers. It was so interesting. 15:15. Also, it's 3:00, 15 minutes. We call it 16:16, 17:17. Every hour, I saw these numbers on my phone, and this was so interesting. Years ago, I don't realize, but today, the universe is talking to me. Okay, what I'm doing in this moment, and this was so interesting. When you are connected to the universe, you realize so many things when the universe try to send you messages.
Yeah, if we pay attention, we're getting a lot of signals on direction. Or the greatest signal is how you feel, right? It's like, this doesn't feel good. Well, that's your internal guidance system telling you you're off track. Come back on track. It'll feel good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. But this is only since I start, of course, with meditation, to look in the different parts of spirituality. And then life change. Life change. You realize you are here right now and you see things and also signs. And you think, wow, it works. Like manifestation. Yeah. Life is full of ups and downs, and setbacks are often part of the process. How do you find strange to keep moving forward when things get tough?
I love this question because it's something I talk a lot about. We have to expect and be ready for the challenges. There's some kind of strange belief. It's like, okay, I'm good now. Now nothing bad should happen. No. We're not here to live in paradise. This is not paradise. It's our reaction that can create hell or paradise, right? So the idea is to be prepared for the challenge because it will always come. The world ebbs and flows, right? We have to experience that to grow, which is why we're here. So if you know that challenges will always come and you're just going to be ready and to know, okay, here's the challenge. It showed up because this is the world. It's impossible. Yes. Challenge is here. I know that there is a solution just on the other side, just like all the evidence shows. There's always a solution. So just let's trust the path that I've come down for this whole entire time. There's a solution waiting. It's just a matter of time before I get that. So what can I do? I can energetically kind of pull the solution into the now and focus on the solution. What is the solution? Maybe I don't have an answer for the solution. That's okay. What does the feeling feel like of the solution it's coming.
Okay.
I'm going to just ride this experience. I'm going to be an observer to it. I'm not going to go high, low, low. That's going to hurt me ultimately, because then you could break, right? You might wobble, but don't break. And if we're prepared and we have tools to help us, you know, emotional tools, frameworks that help us, that are success frameworks, things like that, we can be even better prepared for things like that. But expect it, because it's coming. And so for me personally, I'm at that point where, I mean, God forbid, you know, somebody dies or something like that. I mean, there's some things that, you know, I might break. I won't say that that's going to be more difficult.
Yeah.
However, I know that I now expect the challenges, so I'm prepared. And I know that just because it's like so easy right now doesn't mean that it's going to stay that way. I just have a plan on how to go through it. And again, it doesn't mean you have all the answers. The plan is for my emotional balancing, my emotional responses and frequency, because that's what's going to keep me in line or take me off track.
Yes, but you know what is the interesting things? When you have these days, you stand up, you are very positive, you do your meditation, everything is good, and then you face problems. And it starts with one problem. Of course, you can say, okay, I handle this, no problem, I'm in a positive mood, but then another problem shows up, and then another problem. I think every one of us have this situation in our life. But you know what it changed? When you say to yourself, tomorrow, it's a new beginning.
Yeah.
And when I stand up the next days, there is no problem at all. Or I see the problems with different eyes. And I think this is the most problem that a lot of people, when they're struggling, when they face obstacles, what they are doing, after the work, they drink alcohol, you know, or other people take drugs. They're saying, okay, when I do this, I don't have these problems anymore, but this is not true. I think better is to think, okay, there is another day, there is another morning, there is a new beginning.
Yeah.
And this changed everything.
And this is where I go back to the work of DeMartini. Everything's balanced, and right now my perspective is imbalanced, right? If I'm looking at this as so horrible, my perspective in this moment is imbalanced. So even though it looks bad, well, what's the other side of it that I can start maybe in this moment recognizing that there's a balance to this? And if I can do that, then I'm not so attached to this, you know, hurting me like this is so bad. It's like, wait, if I don't see it now, I'm going to see it later, but maybe I can see it now. And if I can do it now, I feel less pain. So let's do that work.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's simple. It's not easy.
But it's important that you realize this.
Yeah, because that helps you not lose time in those emotional falls, right?
But what you say before, it's also interesting. When you have this moment in your life, you know, think about, wow, I have a challenge now. I have really faced a big problem.
Yeah.
But mostly, when you overcome this problem, it mostly comes better. I think you need all these moments in your life that you grow. Otherwise, life is boring. Can you believe this? Every day, beautiful. It's like people think when they are rich, when they have a beautiful life, when they have the most beautiful car, we see it many times here in Dubai, the beautiful yacht, they have so many problems. I was really shocked when I come in this, what I can say, this society, very, very rich people, and then I realized for myself, wow, they are not happy at all. And this is the problem. You can make yourself happiness with luxury brands and all these things. This gives you happiness short time. That's why a lot of people, they have nothing and they are so happy in life.
Yeah, well, a material object's never going to make you happy. That's not what happiness is. And I think often a lot of people are chasing happiness.
Yes.
When I look at, like, when all your needs are being met at a high level, you feel really content, really at peace. That to me is happiness. It's when we're chasing those high highs of what we think happiness is, meaning I've got to obtain that boat, that home, that inner circle, whatever it is, that experience. that's what's going to make me happy. But if you recognize that you can generate just like we self-generate love, we can self-generate happiness.
Yes.
Consciously on purpose. But if I assign happiness to that purse, it's not going to make me happy. Of course not. It's like, okay, great. Happiness. Like, no, it doesn't make sense. When you really look at it, like, it makes no sense whatsoever. It's like, oh, wait, now you have the purse. What now? You know?
Yeah, you are so right. I see this many times here in Dubai, and people think also, I think what is very important, to have freedom, to feel peaceful, to what you have in the moment is good and it's okay. You know what I mean?
And
Don't
you get
search
more that
always
way.
for more.
Yeah, well, see, I'm a big growth person. So wanting more, there's nothing wrong with wanting more.
No.
It's when you've assigned your happiness to that wanting more. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
Growth is great. It's a human need. So I talk about breaking Cinderella, yeah?
Yes, please.
Breaking Cinderella is about breaking an internal program that's not exclusive to women, that has us believing that I have to obtain this house, this man or woman, this experience out with these people, you know, going in these circles on that yacht. I have to get this yacht. I have to get that house, these things. This is what's going to make me powerful.
Okay.
Right? Just like we call in love, we can call in power. So instead of chasing those things and saying, if I get this job, I'm going to be powerful. What if I started working on a deeper level of awareness, cultivating and creating a deeper sense of power? And there's ways we can do this, calling it forward, building an internal power. Now, energetically, you feel me when you're around me. I have a sense of power. You know, many times when I'm actively working on this, people tell me I'm powerful. And it's so immediate. And when I'm not practicing and I'm feeling like sick or not great, and then I dissipate, and I don't hear it. Yeah. But when I'm actively working on it and cultivating it, I hear it consistently. So now that I'm experiencing an internal energetic frequency of power, like it's vibrating inside of me, and I go to the job, guess what? Is the job powerful or am I powerful? I'm bringing my power to that job. I'm bringing my power to that relationship. I'm bringing that power to the experience. Now they don't own me, right? I'm not attached to, I have to get that. I am the power source.
Wow.
Now I can move throughout the world as a power conductor of energy versus and send it out to the things. And now there's an acceleration of me getting what I want because I'm already at the frequency of having and high levels of abundance and all that goes into it. And then all those things get drawn to me.
Amazing.
And at an accelerated level.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's called Cinderella?
Breaking Cinderella.
Breaking Cinderella. You look like Cinderella, my dear.
What's funny is, do you want to hear the backstory to that?
Yes.
So I grew up in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And when I was 17, I went to an American school. Saudi was not what it is today, right? Back then, religious police were still running around. I was yelled at for wearing jeans under my abaya.
Wow.
Like, very different worlds. And so, needless to say, I did not want to stay there. 17. I'd gone to, my parents were very well connected, so they were going to, my mom was going to these royal weddings, women's weddings, because they were separate, men and women. And so I was with her. She took me a couple times. And so then a prince's family comes to my family and asks for my hand at 17.
Wow, this is something you read in the newspaper.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
You weren't going to read it in my paper.
You had this experience. Oh my God.
For me, this was not even an option. Like, no, I need a sense of freedom. I can't even wear jeans under my abaya. I need to leave. So needless to say, this didn't happen. And I went off to the U.S. and went to college. And, you know, through life experiences, as independent as I am, as driven as I am, in the moments that it's tough, when the challenges occur, I found myself being like, oh, it'd be really great if somebody else came and helped me out here, right? Instant power outside of myself. I don't have the answers. I don't have the power. I need to draw power from somebody else. Come help me, right? Come save me.
Yes.
And how many times do you do that before you realize you've got to do it?
So many times. I was still waiting many years that someone is coming and saying, Daniela, come with me to Miami and we have a beautiful life, but nobody was coming.
And listen, for the women who've had that experience and think, okay, I'm going to get saved by a man, is it really that you were saved? Because how many times I've talked to people, women, who've had that experience and they feel enslaved in the relationship.
Yes.
They feel they're struggling and they can't leave because they don't have the financial structure.
Yes.
He's managing and handling it all. So now they're stuck and they actually want to leave. And then there's many cases where women are being abused and they're like, what do? I can't leave. So anyway, the best thing you can do is build your own power.
So right.
And I have to caveat this because the men get very angry at me. It does not mean we want to control men or be masculine or be the, aggressor. We can be feminine and still have our own power, gentlemen. For the love of God, they're not mutually exclusive.
I love it.
Yeah.
To all ladies out there, take your power back.
Yeah.
This is so beautiful. Of course, you can you can stay in a beautiful relationship.
Yeah, you're an example of that.
Your power is most important, and to be financially free also, it's so important. I think we can talk for hours, but now we are on the end. Oh my God. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rola.
you.
It was amazing for sharing your journey, go really deep, show your insight, your inspiration. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here today at the podcast, and I'm sure our listener, they learned so much today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
For being here.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for turning into the Daniela Baumann Show. We hope you enjoyed this inspiring conversation with Rola Diab and gained insights from her journey. Rola's story is sure to motivate and empower you. If you're interested in learning more about overcoming challenges and embracing change, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay tuned for more exciting episodes. We also welcome your feedback. Feel free to share your thoughts with us. Until next time, see you. Bye-bye.